Imagine you could understand the secret of your own life, not just what you do or how you feel, but the very essence of what makes you who you are. The Lotus Sutra reveals this profound truth in a way that no other teaching does, and this is why it stands as the king of all Buddhist sutras. It shows us something revolutionary. The entity of our life, the very core of our being, is the mystic law itself. Every moment we experience, whether we feel angry or kind, sad or joyful, we are witnessing the mystic law in action. The idea that one sutra could be superior to all others might seem strange at first. After all, Shakyamuni Buddha taught for over 40 years, delivering countless teachings to help people understand the truth. Yet the Buddha himself declared in the Lotus Sutra, "Among the sutras I have preached, now preach, and will preach, this Lotus Sutra is the most difficult to believe and the most difficult to understand." This statement reveals something crucial. The Buddha was not simply offering another lesson or another way to think about life. He was revealing the ultimate truth that encompasses all other truths. Think of it like learning mathematics. You might start with addition and subtraction, then move to multiplication and division. Each skill builds on the last. But when you finally learn algebra, you discover principles that explain all the earlier operations in a deeper way. The Lotus Sutra works similarly. It doesn't reject the earlier teachings, it reveals their true meaning and shows how they all point toward one fundamental reality. What makes the Lotus Sutra the direct path to enlightenment? The answer lies in what it teaches about our own lives. Other sutras taught that enlightenment was something you had to achieve through countless lifetimes of practice, or that ordinary people were fundamentally different from Buddhas. The Lotus Sutra shatters these limitations. It declares that Buddhahood is not separate from our ordinary lives. As Nichiren Daishonin wrote, "If you think the law is outside yourself, you are embracing not the mystic law but an inferior teaching. This teaching changes everything. When you understand that the mystic law is your life itself, you stop searching for enlightenment somewhere else. You don't need to escape from your daily struggles or wait for some future lifetime to become happy. The power to reveal your Buddha nature exists right now, in this moment, in this life. Every single thing you experience is the mystic law manifesting through you." Consider this passage from the Lotus Sutra, where the Buddha tells his disciples, "The Buddhas wish to open the door of Buddha wisdom to all living beings, to allow them to attain purity. That is why they appear in the world." Notice the word open. The Buddha wisdom is not created from nothing. It's not given to you from outside. It's opened, revealed, uncovered, like removing a cloth from something that was always there. Your Buddha nature has always existed within you. Lotus Sutra simply shows you how to see it. Now we come to something even more profound. Our lives manifest either good or evil at each moment. We make choices constantly, some kind, some selfish, some wise, some foolish. We feel compassion one moment and anger the next. These changes happen so quickly that we might feel like we're several different people throughout a single day. The Lotus Sutra teaches that all these manifestations, both good and evil, spring from the same source, the mystic law. This doesn't mean good and evil are the same thing. It means they both arise from the fundamental life force that flows through us. Nichiren Daishonin explained this clearly when he wrote, "Even a heartless villain loves his wife and children. He too has a portion of the bodhisattva world within him." This statement might surprise you. How can someone who does terrible things have Buddha nature? But this is exactly the point. The entity of life itself contains all possibilities. The same life that produces anger can produce compassion. The same life that creates suffering can create joy. The mystic law is the name for this entity of life that contains everything. Think about water for a moment. Water can exist as ice, liquid, or steam. These forms look completely different from each other. Ice is hard and cold. Steam is invisible and hot. Yet they're all water, just manifesting in different ways depending on conditions. Similarly, the entity of your life can manifest as the world of hell when you're suffering, or as the world of Buddha when you're awakened to your true nature. But the underlying entity, the mystic law, never changes. Lotus Sutra's teaching about the 10 worlds helps us understand this more deeply. These 10 worlds aren't different places you go to. They're 10 conditions that exist within your life at every moment. Hell, hunger, animality, anger, humanity, heaven, learning, realization, bodhisattva, and Buddhahood. All 10 exist within you right now. Which one manifests depends on what you're experiencing and how you're responding to it. As Nichiren Daishonin wrote, our body is the Dharma nature, and the Dharma nature is our body. Although there is no difference between them, without realizing the Dharma nature, we still endure delusion and pain. This is why the Lotus Sutra is the direct path. Other teachings might try to suppress the lower worlds and cultivate only the higher ones. They might say you need to eliminate anger, destroy desire, and escape from the world of ordinary people. But the Lotus Sutra teaches something more powerful and more practical. You don't need to destroy anything. You need to reveal the Buddha nature that already exists within all 10 worlds. The sutra contains a famous parable about a jewel sewn into a poor man's robe. This man wanders through life as a beggar, struggling and suffering, completely unaware that a precious jewel has been sewn into his clothing all along. When he finally discovers it, he becomes instantly wealthy. He was never truly poor. He just didn't know his true nature. We are all like this man. The jewel of Buddhahood has been sewn into the robe of our lives from the very beginning. We don't need to create it or earn it. We only need to become aware of it. Another crucial teaching in the Lotus Sutra is the eternal nature of the Buddha. In earlier teachings, Shakyamuni Buddha appeared as a man who was born, practiced, attained enlightenment, and would eventually die. The Lotus Sutra reveals this was an expedient teaching to match people's understanding. The truth is that the Buddha's enlightenment is eternal and his life is without beginning or end. This revelation directly connects to our own lives. If the Buddha's life is eternal and our lives are entities of the mystic law just as his life is, then our lives too are eternal and inherently enlightened. Nichiren Daishonin emphasized this point when he wrote, "There is no true Buddha other than Shakyamuni Buddha, and no true sutra other than the Lotus Sutra. All other Buddhas are emanations of Shakyamuni Buddha. All other sutras are expedient means leading to the Lotus Sutra." This might sound exclusive, but it's actually inclusive. Shakyamuni represents the enlightened life itself, the mystic law made visible. When you chant Nam-myoho Renge-kyo, you're not calling on some external Buddha. You're awakening the Buddha that is your own life. The practical application of this teaching transforms daily life completely. When you face a problem at school or at home, you don't need to think, "I'm just an ordinary person, I can't handle this." Instead, you can realize, my life contains the world of Buddhahood. I can manifest wisdom and courage right now. When you make a mistake or do something you regret, you don't need to think, "I'm a bad person." You can understand, I manifested a lower world in that moment, but my fundamental nature is still the mystic law. I can manifest Buddha nature right now. The Lotus Sutra uses the metaphor of the lotus flower for good reason. A lotus grows in muddy water, but produces a pure and beautiful flower. The mud isn't separate from the lotus. The lotus needs the mud to grow. Similarly, our daily struggles and problems aren't obstacles to enlightenment. They're the exact place where enlightenment appears. As Nichiren Daishonin wrote, "Suffer what there is to suffer. Enjoy what there is to enjoy. Regard both suffering and joy as facts of life, and continue chanting Nam-myoho Renge-kyo, no matter what happens." This teaching gives us incredible power and freedom. You don't need perfect conditions to be happy. You don't need to wait until all your problems are solved to reveal your Buddha nature. Right in the middle of your current situation with all its complications and challenges, you can manifest the highest state of life. The entity of your life doesn't depend on circumstances. It is the mystic law itself, constant and unchanging beneath all surface changes. The 16-character title of the Lotus Sutra, in Sanskrit Saddharma Pundarika Sutra, contains deep meaning. Saddharma means mystic law or wonderful law. Pundarika means white lotus flower. The white lotus symbolizes the purity that emerges from muddy water, the simultaneous cause and effect that characterizes the mystic law. Every moment contains both the cause you make and the effect you experience. You're always creating your future while experiencing results from your past. This happens all at once, not in sequence, because it's the nature of the life entity itself. Consider how this works in daily experience. When you chant Nam-myoho Renge-kyo with strong faith, you're making a cause for happiness. But you're also experiencing the effect of that cause immediately. You feel different, stronger, more hopeful. The cause and effect happen together because they're both expressions of the same mystic law. Nichiren Daishonin wrote, "Both oneself and others together will take joy in their possession of wisdom and compassion." This joy isn't waiting in some future time. It manifests now, in this moment, as you connect with the mystic law. The Lotus Sutra also teaches about the three bodies of the Buddha: the Dharma body, the reward body, and the manifested body. These aren't three different Buddhas. They're three aspects of one Buddha. The Dharma body is the truth itself, the mystic law. The reward body is the wisdom that comprehends this truth. The manifested body is the compassionate action that helps others realize it. You possess all three of these aspects in your own life. Your life entity is the Dharma body. Your wisdom and life force are the reward body. Your actions in the world are the manifested body. Understanding this gives tremendous confidence in dealing with life's challenges. You're not a powerless individual facing overwhelming forces. You are an expression of the mystic law itself. The same life force that moves the entire universe flows through you. When you align yourself with this reality through faith and practice, you can accomplish things that seem impossible. As Nichiren Daishonin assured his followers, "Never doubt that all Buddha throughout the three existences and 10 directions attained Buddhahood through the single character Myo." This character, Myo, represents the mystic law, the entity of life that contains everything. It's called mystic because it defies ordinary explanation. How can good and evil both arise from the same source? How can ordinary people and Buddhas share the same life essence? How can suffering and enlightenment exist in the same moment? These mysteries can't be fully explained by logic. They can only be experienced and proven through practice. The Lotus Sutra declares, "The true aspect of all phenomena can only be understood and shared between Buddhas." This doesn't mean ordinary people can't grasp it. It means that ultimate reality is so profound that only through awakening, becoming a Buddha yourself, can you fully comprehend it. The good news is that you already have everything you need for this awakening. The entity of your life is already the mystic law. You simply need to believe it, practice it, and prove it through your daily experience. When Shakyamuni Buddha was about to pass away, his disciples felt lost and afraid. They thought they were losing their teacher and guide. But in the Lotus Sutra, the Buddha revealed that he would never truly leave them. His enlightened life would continue forever, appearing whenever and wherever needed to help people awaken to their own Buddha nature. This eternal Buddha is not different from the eternal mystic law. It's the fundamental life force of the universe itself, which you access each time you chant Nam-myoho Renge-kyo. The direct path to enlightenment means you don't need to take detours through countless practices and preparations. You don't need to be a scholar who studies every teaching. You don't need to renounce the world and become a monk. You only need to awaken to what you already are, an entity of the mystic law, capable of manifesting Buddhahood right now. This is the supreme teaching of the Lotus Sutra, the reason it stands as the King of Sutras. Every moment of your life confirms this truth. When you're happy, that's the mystic law manifesting as joy. When you're struggling, that's the mystic law presenting an opportunity for growth. When you show courage, that's your Buddha nature emerging. When you help someone, that's the compassion of the mystic law flowing through you. Nothing in your life is separate from this fundamental reality. Understanding this transforms everything. You stop judging some experiences as spiritual and others as ordinary. You recognize that every single moment is the mystic law in action. The Lotus Sutra promises that all people, without exception, can attain Buddhahood. Not just good people, not just smart people, not just people who get everything right. All people. Why? Because the entity of life itself is the Buddha nature. As Nichiren Daishonin wrote, believe in this mandala with all your heart. Nam-myoho Renge Kyo is like the roar of a lion. What sickness can therefore be an obstacle? The lion's roar represents the power that emerges when you awaken to your true identity as an entity of the mystic law. This is why the Lotus Sutra is the direct path, the king of sutras, the teaching that reveals ultimate truth. It doesn't offer complicated philosophy or distant goals. It simply tells you, look at your life right now. This life, exactly as it is the mystic law itself. Every moment you exist, you prove this truth. Every breath you take is the mystic law breathing through you. Every thought you think is the mystic law thinking itself into form. Every action you take is the mystic law moving through the world. When you grasp this truth deeply, you become absolutely free. You're no longer controlled by external circumstances or internal doubts. You know your essential nature, and that knowledge gives you unshakable strength. The world may challenge you, difficulties may arise, but your fundamental entity remains constant. The mystic law doesn't waver. It simply is, eternally, completely, perfectly manifesting. Sometimes as struggle, sometimes as victory, but always as the profound reality of life itself.